All right, let's switch gears a little bit. David Seth Cohn is a writer. He's a producer, a director, editor, actor. He, I believe, was born in Brooklyn, but raised right here on the island. And Finding Sandler, and we're going to get into that and everything. And we welcome David to the show for the first time. It is a pleasure. Sir, how are you?
Hey, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having me.
It is great to have a Long Island a guy with your arsenal of work.
Thank you.
Writer, producer, director, editor. Am I right in saying you grew up right here on the island? No?
Yeah, I did. I grew up in Plainview, actually. I also lived in Great Neck, and I had a house in Massapequa, so I've been around the island a little bit.
There you go. I'm an old Massapequa guy from way back myself. Massapequa Park, actually, for a number of years.
Yeah. Same here. That's where I was, Massapequa Park.
Right near, what was the name of that park? I'm trying to, Burns Park, John Burns Park. I live right there.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Great place. Oh, my goodness. And a pretty good pizza place right up the road, too. Interesting. Now, we're going to get into some of the work and everything else. And, I was reading a little bit of the David Seth Cohn bio, and you got into this at a real early age. A lot of people, they might make a transition, late teenage years, 20s. They get a break. But this is something that you really wanted, it seemed, David, since being a kid, right? I mean, I'm talking a kid, by age 10. Here's David making films and performing live shows with, another family member. I mean, that is unbelievable. And that's something you wanted to do ever since, right?
Well, so it's kind of funny. When I was a kid, my cousin and I used to, put together these like little movies and do these little live shows and stuff like that. As I got older, I started learning a little bit of other things and listened to, I was always a fan of radio. So I created this radio show when I was in camp where when our counselors would fall asleep, I would interview a bunkmate and in front of the other bunkmates as audience members, and it kind of kept going from there. But actually, when I went to college, I was a pre-law major, and pretty much started taking these pre-law classes. And at one point, it was my junior year, and a very close friend of mine who actually also was from Long Island, his name was Brad Stoll. Brad was in a couple different movies and a whole bunch of things, and Brad passed away. And when he passed away, I was actually also taking an intro to film class. And so I decided at that point to kind of follow what I always wanted to do, which was, I always enjoyed creating, and to change from, law to mass communication with a concentration in film and television. And that was kind of it. And from there, I went full force.
Believable. And you're doing a great job and everything else. I was looking at, some of the work and everything else, and then Finding Sandler. Talk to the audience a little bit about Finding Sandler. This was fascinating. Go ahead.
Yeah, so basically in 1998, I got hired to work on the movie Big Daddy, which was starring Adam Sandler. And a quick fun fact for people that probably would never know this is that the movie was originally called Guy Gets Kid, and they changed it to Big Daddy. At any rate, I was really pumped to be able to work on this movie because growing up, I was a big Adam Sandler fan. I loved his movies, Saturday Night Live, and of course the Hanukkah song was awesome. So I always, I was a big fan of his. So the fact that I was, having the opportunity to work on the film was really cool. On top of all that other stuff, I admired Adam because, he always worked with the people that he liked, his friends, and that was kind of what I always aspired to do. So he was a hero of mine. And while I was working on Big Daddy, the night of the premiere for The Waterboy, which happened to be in Manhattan, my boss, who was the costume designer, asked me to deliver clothing to Adam that he wanted to wear from the set. She also asked me to drop off this coworker of mine at home after I dropped the clothes off at the front desk of Adam's apartment. So what happened was I ended up going to Sandler's building. I pulled up. I double parked the car. I told, my coworker, hey, I'll be right back. I went up to the doorman. I handed him the clothes, and hey, just bring them up to Adam. So it's kind of like, all right. I had this this coworker in the car, and I didn't have a cell phone. I was a poor 22-year-old kid at the time. So, no way to contact her other than just I figured I'd go up, I'd drop off the clothes, and I'd leave. So when I got to his apartment, I knocked on the door, and from behind the door, I heard, "Who is it? What do you want?" Sort of like yelling at me, kind of how he yells in his movies. And I was like, "Oh, it's Dave. I'm just a PA here to deliver your clothes for the premiere." And he opens his door, and he's got this big smile on his face. He goes, "Hey, man, you want to come in and have a drink?" And I kind of froze, and it was like this moment where on one side it was like, "Say," he's like your hero. When would you ever have a chance to hang out with your hero like this? And then the other part was like, your boss will kill you. You have somebody waiting in the car. You have no way to contacting her. You gotta go back and take her home like you were told. And that side won, and I told him I couldn't stay, and I left, and I never had the chance to hang out with him again.
That is unbelievable. I mean,
yeah.
And he seems like such a regular guy too.
Yeah, he was definitely a real nice guy. Yeah.
Even to the story, which I'm sure a lot of people remember, it was a couple of weeks ago. Guy goes into an IHOP, right? I think it was in Manhasset with his daughter. And, he had the mask on and everything else, and the poor girl, who was sitting people, and I guess didn't recognize Adam, and said, "I'm sorry, it's going to be, maybe a 45-minute wait," whatever it was. And there was so much backlash on social media, and the guy actually came back, and he did a couple of things only that Adam Sandler would probably do, to kind of ease the tension and everything else. But it seems like that's just the way he is. He just seems like a natural, even to the point of going on to pick up basketball games in and around Christopher Morley Park while he's filming something in Bethpage. He's just a natural guy, really.
Yeah, well, so it's funny. You said, that's absolutely true. And so what happened was in 2006, so, the movie Big Daddy was filmed in 98. So in 2006, I was kind of I had just turned 30. And I was having these nights where I'd kind of toss and turn in bed thinking like, yeah, what if I stayed and hung out with Adam Sandler, who it could have been really cool. Like, it's kind of, I equated the whole thing with, it's almost like a tech guy that would possibly have had the opportunity to hang out with Steve Jobs and pick his brain and just get advice, right? So for me, it was a similar thing. And I would have these thoughts like over the years, like, what if I stayed and hung out with Adam Sandler, would have had a big impact on my life, And so I had this dream over the summer of 2006 that I went to California looking for Adam. And when I woke up, I decided to make a movie about it, to go on this quest and try and find him and have the drink and the movie would be called Finding Sandler. So that's kind of how the whole thing happened.
That's a great story. It really is. And look what happened. Finding Sandler, right? And it came to fruition. I mean, who would have thought that, right? In the back of your mind, did you ever think it was possible and everything else to put something of this magnitude together?
No, I mean, look, the thing is, I decided to do this movie and really because I wanted to right a wrong. And, I think, it's not totally about Adam Sandler. It's about trying to rewrite something that you kind of felt like you made a mistake on, and the movie has like a lot of lessons in it, first off, obviously, when opportunity knocks, answer, right? Number one. But, if you don't, try again, right? Why not? Try again. And regardless of, whether, the drink happens or the drink doesn't happen, at the end of the day, I learned something, right? And so that's the most important thing. I found myself in this whole quest.
So, in essence, the communications as far as Adam Sandler, where are you at with Adam Sandler today? I mean, go ahead. Yeah,
I actually had a chance to meet with Adam a bunch of years back, and we had a really great conversation. He was a super nice guy. And then it started getting to his management team after that, and that's kind of where everything's been held up. So right now, we're still hoping that Adam would come forward and have the drink. And truth is, it doesn't even have to be a drink. Hey, man, if he wants to play pickup basketball, I'm happy to play and hang out, To me, it's look, it's not about Adam furthering my career. It's really about hanging out with the guy, and, being able to, get advice and just kind of learn from a hero. I mean, there's nothing like that in the world. And it was such a rare opportunity. So I'm just hoping that, his team and him, hear this message and come forward to actually, have the drink or a hangout or whatever it may be.
A great story. We're talking David Seth Cohn. That's a great story. It really is. It'll come about. Listen, I can envision you maybe being behind the lens with Adam there one day acting. I mean, that could happen too. In a big way. So you just got to keep your dreams going and everything else. So what's on the docket for you? Do you have any great projects coming into play that we should know about? Where can we maybe get a glimpse as far as what you're envisioning here down the road?
Yeah, well, Finding Sandler is going to be released this year. Whether Adam comes to the table or doesn't come to the table, the film will be released this year. So there's that. That'll be out, at some point, hopefully in 2021. We're looking for distribution right now. I do have a couple other projects in the pipeline. One of them is a tennis comedy called The Ball Boy. It's actually, there's really never been a tennis comedy out there that has kind of been a commercial kind of film. And so hoping to get that up and running at some point in the next couple of years as well. Beyond that, my regular day job, I do a lot of films for corporations, nonprofits, and I also do a lot of photography. So, I'll continue to do that. My website's davidsethcohen.com if anybody wants to check out my work. Hopefully some other projects come in the future.
Well, it sounds like, listen, you've been at this thing a long time and everything else, and, you've got the persona and everything else, and it seems like, David, you got the drive. So, we look for more great stuff from you,
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Certainly coming out of this pandemic, it's good to see Hollywood, kind of get going again. I'm looking at a lot of stuff coming down the pike. So, listen, the theaters are opening up. That's a good thing. And a lot of actors now are involved in their projects, and it seems like things are rolling along. So we hope for some great stuff, and we look forward to some great stuff from you. How's that? Great stuff. David Seth Cohn.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it all. Stay in touch with us. Let us know what's happening. Keep us in the loop. Anything we can provide you, let us know. All righty? Appreciate that very much. David Seth Cohn, Finding Sandler. We look forward to that in 2021.